Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be being too compliant and wussy-like. Well, I've got two emails from two different viewers that I'm going to go through with you today. But before I get into the first email, I'm going to go through a quote that I wrote for you. And it says, when a man acts unsure or indecisive, it will cause women to think he lacks confidence and belief in his own true self-worth. When a woman senses weakness in a man, they often will feign displeasure or offense to see how he reacts. Beta males typically will respond with apologies, changing their opinions to match hers, compromising their values and principles, and by exhibiting submissive and compliant behavior. A true gentleman will apologize when he has truly been offensive, but not when his being himself causes others to become offended at the nature of who he is. An alpha male is not ashamed of who he is, loves and values himself, does not take himself too seriously, uses self-deprecating humor, and is only interested in spending his time with those who accept him as he is without trying to change him or expecting him to change. So let's jump into the first guy's email. He says, hey coach, I like a woman who is currently doing university exams. She told me she would meet up with me after exams only. She's studying to be a doctor, so I can understand all her focus is on finishing her exams. We briefly had a fling years ago, so I already know she is sweet and also good in bed. Definitely a bonus. He says, I always liked her, so I relish the idea of being in a relationship with her. Shouldn't be focusing on a relationship, dude. Just focusing on hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. Creating an opportunity for sex to happen. That really, in reality, is what a date is. Now, depending on your own personal moral compass, you might be in the camp of no sex until marriage. That's fine. But if you're like most guys, you like women and you want to hook up. And I'm here to teach you whatever it is that you want to do, how to accomplish it, based upon your own moral principles. Because the bottom line is, when you understand what women respond to emotionally, all you have to do is show up and do the right things, and you'll get what you want. And my job as a coach is not to be your judge, but to help you get what it is you want. That's what you hire me for anyways. He says, in the meantime, we kept in touch. We were both looking forward to the end of exams. She is from a good family, had a traditional upbringing. She's beautiful but humble, very intelligent, but also down to earth and wants a family. He says, definitely marriage material. We don't really know that, dude, because you don't know her that well. He says, so one batch of exams is finished. However, she did not contact me. Well, that's interesting. What does that tell you? Probably not that interested in hanging out. He says the second batch was upcoming. He says, I saw her on Facebook making plans with other friends and putting photos up of going out after the exams, so I was confused why she suddenly went cold on me. At the end of the day, you always look at what a woman does. It doesn't really matter one way or another, and we're going to see here in a minute, because this guy actually found out what the real problem was. But then how he handled it wasn't so good. He says, I am joined to a Facebook page on Facebook that does explicit adult humor. To my surprise, she commented on one of those jokes with just my name and question marks after it. Bob? So what does that tell you? She's a little prudish, and she does not share the same sense of humor. Now, what kind of insight should that give you? Well, you want to date somebody who has similar goals and similar values. And if you like rude, crude humor and she doesn't, probably not really compatible. He says a girl dies, and so he says, here's one of the jokes. A girl dies and goes to heaven. She stands outside the gates of heaven with St. Peter. She hears a scream come from inside the gates. She asks St. Peter, what was that? St. Peter replies, oh, that's where we drill a hole in your head to attach the halo. Shortly after that, the woman hears two screams. She asks, what was that? St. Peter replies, oh, that's where we drilled two holes in your back to attach your wings. He says, at this point, the woman says, I don't mean to offend you, St. Peter, but hell is looking like a better option. St. Peter replies, are you serious? In hell they rape and sodomize you all day long. The woman smiles at him and says, yes, but I already have the holes for that. That's actually pretty fucking funny. I have not heard that. It's like harmless humor. It's like, come on, man. But obviously, if you got to stick up your ass, no pun intended, and you just get bent out of shape at things like that, it's like, come on. He says, I sent her a message saying that she was brave to write a comment on that joke because the page owner is a man that slams anyone who disagrees with any of his jokes. Then that's what stand-up comics do. Anytime they get heckled, they're ready for you. He says, it continues on, then I got a message from her. It basically said that on Facebook in her news feed it showed all the likes that I was doing. She said the reason she has not contacted me to arrange a meetup is because she can see all of these sexually explicit, vulgar, sexist jokes about women repetitively for months. In other words, she's not into the same kind of things that you are. And as a man, you like these things. This is your reality. You think this shit's funny as hell. And it is. That was a pretty damn good fucking joke, I must say. He says, and she said she took a look at the page and it also had racist jokes on there. He says she's black and I'm white. She said that at the end of the day, there's people that go through life just looking for reasons to get offended. I see them come to my YouTube channel and they watch something and they get all offended and they write some nasty comment. And I block them and delete their comment. Out of sight, out of mind. Because I want like-minded people. I want people on my YouTube page who comment, who are like-minded. People who are building each other up. Who have a positive outlook. That was one of the things that I liked when I was in Tony World, so to speak. In other words, when I was a platinum partner of Tony Robbins. You meet people that you normally wouldn't encounter in everyday life. People that are uplifting, that are positive, that believe in themselves, that have a good sense of humor. They don't take themselves too seriously. They look at the world in a different way. You just see it in their eyes. And what's nice about that is there's a really high concentration of like-minded people at those kinds of events. And that's why I don't tolerate jackasses or people that got to stick up their ass. It's just easier to block them because I don't want to deal with those people. I want to deal with people that are like-minded, that aren't going through life looking for a reason to get all butthurt over things. He says she thought I was a decent man and she was looking forward to spending time with me, but after seeing all these jokes, she has changed her mind. Well, you can't do anything about that. Great. Well, you know what? I'm sorry you feel that way, but I got a good sense of humor, and I don't get offended at these things. If you get all butthurt over that, then, hey, let me know if you change your mind, because I think you're a really great gal. That's the appropriate way to handle it, but let's look at what he did. He says, and she said if the page owner does start cussing her because she wrote a comment on the joke and calls her a cunt, as he does to other women who say anything that she has seen this page, then she trusts that I will be cowardly enough to do nothing about it. Well, hey, if you go and you comment and he calls you a cunt, then, hey, sweetie, you deserve what you get. It's not my fault. That's the way to handle it. Because at the end of the day, she knows that that's what's going to happen. But if she goes and comments and he calls her a cunt, that's the kind of thing that you're going to treat her like the bratty little sister. It's like, hey, it's kind of like, don't touch that hot pan over there. Ow, I got burned. Oh, I'm sorry that you got burned. Oh, poor baby. He's like, I told you. I told you shouldn't have done that, you jackass. He says, I was shocked, Coach, that she would see what I was doing on Facebook, and I wrote back explaining it's a joke page, doing what most guys do, trying to justify your actions. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Highness. Let me kiss your ass, lick your feet. He says, and that the joke is about religion, it's not about women. And I am sorry she thinks I am not decent, and I am upset about that. Why should you get upset about you being yourself? It's fucking funny. See, what's going on right now is you're apologizing for yourself. You're trying to be compliant. You're trying to change who you are in order to gain acceptance or approval of this particular woman. But it gets worse. He continues on, digging himself a hole. It's like he's stuck in the sand. He's like, let me just give it more gas. All he does is give himself more stuck. He says no answer. A few hours later, I sent her a second message. In it, I said she may possibly be right about that some of these may be sexist jokes, but I didn't say that much about it. But I am not racist and not a coward. Now you're trying to defend yourself. Bad way to go. It's the worst thing you can do. Go with the flow. Use humor to diffuse the situation. Treat her like the bratty little sister because she's being ridiculous. She's being an anal retentive jackass. I had one of my girlfriends one time said, Corey, you're an anal retentive jackass. I said, thank you for noticing, sweetheart. I still love you. By the way, come over here and kiss me. Have I told you how sexy you look in those jeans? He says, I went on to explain, that's why I don't like Facebook. Oh, now you don't like Facebook. Come on, man. Be a fucking man, dude. He says, because sometimes people can see what you are doing, and maybe LinkedIn is a safer site to be on. Now you've just total gone into wussy, nice guy, Mr. Compliant. I'm sorry, Your Highness, that you're offended. Oh, please forgive me. I also said it's better for me to delete my activity because I'm trying to find a job and potential employers can look me up. You have completely changed your position that this is a great page, it's funny as fuck, to match hers, the fact that I'm offended. This is communicating nothing but weakness and that you're a wussy. It's approval-seeking behavior. You're like a little boy seeking approval from his mommy. He says, I ended by apologizing again for any offense caused, and I hope her exams went well. Next time I went on Facebook, I saw she had deleted me. Do you think she overreacted? No, I just think that she's got a stick up her ass, and at the end of the day, you should have busted her on it and communicated that she's being silly and ridiculous, that you have a great sense of humor. And by the way, this was a really fucking great joke. Did you see it? It's like, if you don't think that's funny, then you're a complete waste of a perfectly good set of tits. No, I'm kidding. You wouldn't say that to her. I had a buddy of mine one time. He's actually divorced from this girl, but we were hanging out in my loft one time in this old house that I had. This is probably going back 10, 12 years ago. And we were all drinking and having a good time. And she was doing something that was just, she was trying to take a shot and drink a beer at the same time. And it was just like a really simple way to do this particular shot. And we were just like, and he looks at me and he goes, I know, Corey, it's a complete waste of a perfectly good set of tits. And he said it totally deadpan. And I laughed my ass off because I couldn't believe he was saying it about his wife, but it was fucking funny as shit at the time. So, like I said, that's my opinion. It's like, who cares? So what? Let it go. It's not. Next time, don't be such a wussy. If you think that shit's funny, just say, that was a great joke. You're offended at that? Oh my God, you need to get over yourself, honey. By the way, when are you free to get together for a drink? I want to see you. So let's get into the second email. This guy says, hey Corey, first of all, I want to say thank you for your wise words and insight into relationships. I bought and read your book once, although I've got 14 times to go. My situation is as follows. I'm deeply in love with my ex-girlfriend. She knows how I feel towards her. We broke up about a month ago. I broke up with her for a few reasons. I felt some things weren't right, so I went with my gut. You should always trust that. He says, I realized after the fact that I had made a mistake. Really? Come on, man. You didn't make no fucking mistake. You did what was right. You did what felt right because you knew something. There was some bad juju there. She's out. He says, I reached out to her after no contact for a few days. Because what happened was you didn't find anybody else. You became fearful. Oh, my God, I'm not going to find me better. Let me go back and beg and plead. Oh, baby, please, sorry. Take me back. I'm sorry. He says, we end up sitting down and having dinner. We talked things through, and I told her how I felt. Dinner was pleasant with no awkwardness and a few laughs. We are at a point now where we haven't seen each other for over a month, but still sporadic contact via text and email. I've attempted to organize a time to hang out, but I am given excuses with no counteroffers. It means she's not interested. You don't. When a woman turns you down like that, hey, give me a call if you change your mind. You got to walk and never look back. You don't keep running after her, hat in hand. I'm sorry to offend you. Please give me another chance, Your Highness. It just makes you look weak and pathetic. He says, I let a few weeks go by and again attempted to organize a meetup with still the same response. Walk and never look back. He says, I will post here the last few texts that we've both exchanged. My last one to her was from the advice you give and the get an X back on what to say. Here are the last few texts. You didn't really need to say it. If she says, oh, I'm busy, then you just go, you know what, I'd really love to see you, but obviously your schedule's pretty jammed up, so why don't you give me a call when you figure out your schedule and we'll get together then. That's the appropriate way to handle it, not sending shit like this in text. He says, here's what he says. Hey, honey, I feel as though we have a few things that need to be cleared. Well, I do anyways. I need to know where we stand. If you like me, tell me. If you don't, tell me. Come on, man. Seriously, dude? You're making yourself look weak and pathetic. Would James Bond ever say something like that? I think not. He says, just to be honest, I'm a big lad and I can handle the truth. If you're confused but like me, I'll back off and give you time and space. Then the ball is in your court. I just need to know so I can wait or move on. Come on, dude. Does that sound manly? Does that sound masculine? I think not. Have a think about it and let me know, Your Highness. He didn't say Your Highness, but... Let me lick your ass. Let me lick your feet. She responds back, hey, mate. Look, I think you're a cool bloke, and don't get me all wrong. A few things that happened around Valentine's Day really stuck with me. Maybe we can do coffee early next month. Take care. Maybe. You know what maybe means? It means up yours. It means no. Fuck that noise. That's when you say, hey, you know what? Give me a call then and we'll plan something. That's what you say. You don't continue to pursue and kiss her ass. And then he responds, I said what I had to say. I'm not interested in just being friends. I want you, but I just can't do this friends only thing. I can't be around you and not be able to touch and kiss and have you. So if you don't want the same thing, then we don't need to see or contact each other anymore. I don't want you to contact me unless you want me. If you do, then show me. I don't want to hear about what you're going to do in the future. Just show me. Otherwise, it's been wonderful getting to know you, and I enjoy the time that we spent together, and I wish you all the best. But I'm not willing to settle for anything less than what I want. What do you think of the train horns in the background? Isn't that fucking awesome? By the way, I've got these drapes coming. They're like almost $4,500 I spent for these things. They're like special soundproofing drapes, so hopefully they'll make a difference. But for now, tough shit. Nothing I can do about it. I live downtown. I live on the 19th floor. What are you going to do? He says, I got too much to offer. And then she responds, well, like I said, it really wasn't necessary to say all that, because what you should have done if you were following what I teach was when she turned you down on 2 different occasions when you tried to set dates, you should have just, at the end of it, just said, great, well, when you figure out your schedule, give me a call, and then waited to hear from her. But instead what you did was you kept chasing after her like Mr. Nice Guy. So she responds back, it took me a while to digest your message. To me, the way it was written was very harsh, and your tone seemed sharp. Taking that aside, in my years of relationships and growth, I found my best partnership relationships grew from basic friendship. I acknowledge what you have said. However, for yourself and for any relationship building in the future, friendship or more, I think your tone and attitude in your message needs to shift. In other words, what she's saying, I think you need to be compliant and you need to be my gay male girlfriend. Because you've been acting weak, and so she's just trying to see what you're made of. She's just naturally acting this way. Because really, you saying that text was unnecessary and it was inappropriate. He says, I like you as, she says, I like you, it continues on, she says, I like you as a person, but in your message you came across and being very sharp, closed-minded, and young in the head. Oh, because she's so experienced. So now she's being condescending and talking down to you and saying you're a little bitch and a little coward and you're not even a man. That's what she really thinks of you. That's why she's leaving you in friend zone, because you've been running after her like a little puppy dog. To me, if I like something, see, now she's giving you all the reasons why being a friend is such a great thing and you should really go for it. To me, if I like someone, I would love even their friendship as I could work on it becoming something we could build on. This chick has seen way too many fucking movies. She doesn't understand what attracts her to a man. But what she does know is she's not attracted to you romantically at this particular moment in time. Through your text, just wants to cut me dry if you're not getting your way. Come on, dude. That's not life, and that's not going to get you where you want to be. See, it's like she's just totally misdirecting you and spinning you around in a circle, because at this point she's determined that you're a wussy and she can pretty much get away with everything. And if you go along with that, you're a fucking sucker. She says, yes, you deserve happiness, as do I. I work hard for what I have, want, and can see vision in. Sometimes text can be misread, but from your message you sound cold and heartless, which I don't think you are. Correct me if I'm wrong. He says, what are your thoughts on this, Corey? Well, my response to that would be, I'm sorry you got offended at it. I was merely speaking from my heart, matter-of-factly. I've been trying to get together, and all you're trying to do is like stick me in friend zone, and I'm just not interested in it. I like you, and I want you. If you ever change your mind, get in touch. Otherwise, it's been great. You're a really great gal, and I'm sorry that you feel this way. But hey, I'd love to see you if you change your mind in the future. That's the way I would handle that, and walk and never look back. You see, the problem is that you went back to her. You tried to make a couple dates. She turned you down, blew you off both times, which communicates she really wasn't that into you. And obviously, it's probably because you weren't handling things when you were dating the first time around, and so you just broke up with her out of frustration. And then she really didn't miss you very much, and that's why she tried to keep you in friend zone. But since you kept pursuing her after she stuck you in friend zone, you really continued to communicate that you weren't worthy and didn't deserve to be with her. So my advice, you've been through the book one time, read it 10 to 15 times more, and just move on with your life. Don't ever call or text this girl again. It's just, there's just no point to it. Yes, I would respond to her text, but in the manner that I prescribed. Hey, I'm sorry you're offended. It wasn't my intent. All I was really trying to say was that it sounds like you just want to get together and be a friend, and I'm just not looking for that. I really like you and I want you. So if you change your mind, give me a call. And you walk and you never look back. And if she never gets in touch with you, it doesn't matter. If she calls you or she contacts you after that, assume it's because she wants to see you. Try to make a date. And if she doesn't, give her the same response. Hey, get in touch with me if you change your mind. And then you walk and you never look back. And if she reaches out a week or two later or a month later, whatever it happens to be, you're going to try one final time to make a date when she's initiating contact with you. And then at that point, if she still gives you the same BS, then you never ever bring up getting together again. She may call you or text you after that. Never send more than 2 to 3 texts and always end with the same thing. Hey, great hearing from you. I got to run. Keep in touch. That's how you're going to end your phone conversations. Your phone conversations never last more than 2 to 3 minutes. Hey, I got to run. Keep in touch. One of 2 things will happen at that point. She'll either bring up getting together or she'll stop calling. And if she brings up getting together, obviously then, yeah, try to set a date. But other than that, that's the only thing you can do with this case. You've dug yourself a really deep hole here. But she's trying to intimidate you and trying to keep you in friend zone. That was the tone of her response to you. And I wouldn't go for that fucking bullshit. I'd say put a fork in this one. It's done. You've blown it up. Next time around, if you've been reading the book and you apply what I teach, you can start off on the right foot and do things properly. And you won't be in these positions where you feel like you're dating a girl and it's not going anywhere. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can choose that or email coaching by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you'd like to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook or order a paperback version, on my website underneath the email sign-up box, there's an image of my book. Click on that. It'll take you to Amazon. Below the book, you can select Kindle or you can select the paperback edition. Order whichever one works for you. And I will talk to you soon.